People kept telling me I was overreacting, that I was trying to be malicious or stir up trouble. But when I finally confronted my coworker Jen about how isolated I felt, she didn't even bother to hide her disdain. She just shrugged and said, "Maybe you should have thought about the consequences before throwing Marcus under the bus for no good reason." Then, in that condescending tone I had come to despise, she added, "Most people think it's pretty messed up that you try to ruin a good guy's reputation over something that was clearly innocent, even heroic. If you want things to go back to normal, you should probably just apologize to him publicly and admit you were wrong." Her words hit me hard, and slowly, doubt started creeping in. Maybe I had misunderstood what happened. Maybe I had overreacted. But another part of me clung fiercely to that raw, vivid memory. The moment Marcus pulled me out of the elevator just before I collapsed from a panic attack. He wrapped his arms tightly around me, pressing my body close to his, trying to keep me from falling. Intellectually, I knew he was trying to help, but I hadn't given him permission for that kind of contact. I felt exposed, vulnerable, even violated. Was it wrong to feel that way about someone trying to help me? Maybe not, but those feelings were real and valid. I wasn't going to apologize just because I was uncomfortable with what happened to my body. None of that seemed to matter to anyone else. Weeks passed, and the silence from my coworkers turned into thinly veiled hostility. Conversations would stop when I entered a room. People who used to laugh with me at lunch barely made eye contact anymore. I began skipping the break room altogether, eating granola bars alone at my desk or outside on a cold bench, feeling like a ghost haunting my own office. Eventually, I couldn't take it anymore. The tension was eating me alive. I knew I had to talk to Marcus directly, not through HR reports or office whispers. I had to try to fix this, even if it meant admitting I might have been wrong. So one evening, after most people had gone home, I waited by his desk as he packed up. When I approached him, I started gently, "Marcus, can we talk? I just want to clear the air, maybe figure out how to move forward." He looked up, and the moment our eyes met, I knew everything had changed. There was no anger in his face, no fire, just a calm, cold finality, like someone who had already made up his mind. He nodded slowly and said, "I get that you did what you thought you needed to do, but now I need to do what I need to do. I can't afford to ever be in that position again. I was accused of misconduct, of harming someone, for trying to help. That changed everything for me." He wasn't shouting or dramatic. That quiet, measured tone made it even worse. "I'm not angry," he continued, "but I won't ever be close to you again. Not personally, not casually, not even friendly small talk in the hallway. Because I don't know when you might decide something I do is inappropriate again. I have to protect myself now." I tried to explain that I never meant for things to go this far, that I was overwhelmed and scared, and maybe I did overreact. But he cut me off. "It doesn't matter what you meant," he said. "The damage is done. People look at me differently now. Some still wonder if there's any truth to what you said. That doesn't go away." From then on, he told me he'd only communicate if absolutely necessary for work, and even then, only by email or in the presence of others. No exceptions. Then he added something that has haunted me ever since. "You taught me something important about being careful who you help, about how even good intentions can backfire. If I ever see someone in distress again, I'll think twice before getting involved. I never want to be in this position again." I stood there stunned. It wasn't just our friendship that was gone. I had changed something fundamental in him. I had turned a kind, helpful person into someone hesitant to act in crisis. As I walked back to my desk, his words echoed in my mind, making me feel nauseous. I thought I was standing up for myself, but instead I had alienated every ally I had. I wasn't empowered. I was utterly alone. From that moment on, the isolation deepened. Marcus kept his word. Cold professionalism. Emails only, no in-person meetings, no jokes, no greetings, nothing that could be misconstrued as personal. Other co-workers followed suit, keeping me at arm's length, afraid to be associated with the woman who cried misconduct. I started eating lunch in my car just to avoid the cafeteria whispers. I applied for internal transfers, but somehow the word had spread. No one wanted to inherit the HR problem. Eventually, I realized I had no choice but to leave. I began job hunting, rehearsing half-truths in my head. It wasn't the right fit. I'm looking for new challenges. I'm seeking a more collaborative culture. Anything but the truth that I had reported someone for making me uncomfortable during a medical episode, and that it had blown up in my face. The part that stunned the most? Marcus got promoted. The same people who iced me out were now celebrating him, praising his work ethic, his integrity, his leadership. They called him a stand-up guy, a hero. Maybe he was. Meanwhile, I was left trying to rebuild my life, my career, and my self-worth with no clear idea whether I was right or wrong. Looking back, I honestly don't know anymore. Maybe my sister was wrong to push me to report it. Maybe I was wrong to follow her advice. Maybe I did destroy a good person's career trajectory, even if he landed on his feet. Maybe I misunderstood what happened in that frightening moment. Or maybe I was just trying to protect myself. The only way I knew how. What I do know is this. Speaking up cost me more than I ever imagined. And sometimes I catch myself wondering, what if I had just said, "Thank you for helping me," and left it at that? Would things have been better? Would I still have friends? Would I still have a job? Would I still like the person I see in the mirror? I don't know, and maybe I never will.